Hey, Slum guys, what's going on? And welcome to the Week 4 edition of the JAMS Football Show. And I'm your host, Horace Hawk. And you know what? Last week we had a little technical difficulties. But I was talking to Omar Abbasi about how I thought maybe that the old school rivalry between the Hurricanes and Union was probably dead. And you know what? This past weekend proved me wrong. And it was a little bit of a wonky game as it started off with the first play right off the kickoff. The Hurricanes return man Javon Hodges kind of slows down while taking the ball at the end zone, waits for the Union to slow down as well, then takes off once he sees a hole, and he runs it in for a touchdown. And like that just doesn't really happen. You don't really see that happen in football, but it did. But it continued with a drop guaranteed touchdown by Mustafa Abbasi, went right through his hands off a flea flicker play. A bunch of high snaps by the Hurricane center, leading him to be benched. 2 interceptions coming off the QBs, like high miss. Actually, had 3 interceptions, but both teams made up for it as the Union combo connected on touchdown and extra point conversion. Mustafa also reeled in a one-hand interception on deep ball thrown by the Hurricanes QB. And the game went to overtime. It was a pretty long game, but each team only needed possession each to decide a victor. And it was the Canes as it came on an amazing extra point attempt with the quarterback of the Hurricanes throwing a high-arcing anticipation throw to Carlos Span for the win. Carlos, one of my former teammates on the Gladiators and one of the original Hurricanes. And those guys combined to give me my first wrong pick of the year. And if you guys haven't seen the game yet, I definitely recommend checking it out on the JAMS homepage. In the power rankings, well, this week we have a lot of movers and shakers. As you know what, it was just a weird week in general. Back at number 1, I kind of underrated them, admittedly, all year. But they're back to the number 1 spot. Boonton Bounty Hunters after convincingly beating last year's runners-up Dime City in a rubber band match. And you know what? They're still the cream of the crop. They still have the athletes. They still have the organization. Like I said, this is a team that's been practicing since right after Ramadan, so about July, August. At number 2, the Knights moving up 2 spots from last week's number 3. They upset Swag in a very low-scoring game. It was a 1-touchdown game. And you know what? They made Swag play at their game, their pace, and a very defensive battle. That's what the Knights are. They're very physical up front. They won't give you much. And the most interesting thing about them, especially the Knights, they have yet to give up a single point. This is we're heading into week 4 now. They played 2 games because they had a bye early on. But yeah, they have yet to give up a touchdown, extra point, safety, anything. They're still pitching a complete shutout. Maybe that changes this week. At number 3, I have Swag. And you know what? They dropped 2 spots. They were number 1 last week for me. I don't think D'Lo played, and that's actually a key piece of them on and off the field. Since he keeps them organized, I think he calls the plays. He does everything for them. But I think he got hurt against Spartans, and maybe that injury carried on to this week. I don't fully know. Speaking of the Spartans, they move up 1 spot into the number 4 slot. Just by the virtue of the bye week. So we'll see how they play this week. Number 5, Heavy Hitters, dropping from my number 3 spot to the number 5 spot. And you know what? The game started extremely late going into the weird weekend, and it ended in a tie. They still managed to get close to a full game in against the Gladiators, but I wonder how much that threw them off because they were there about an hour before the Gladiators even showed up. At number 6, I had the Hurricanes, and you know what? They showed me a lot in this game. I'm going to buy in on them while their stock is rising. I think Matt Carroll is a really good quarterback. I think he's a great runner and a really good passer. I think he'd be one of the better ones in this league. Might be in the top echelon, top tier. I think he's really good. I think he'd lead them to a couple wins. At number 7 is the Union, and this is a team that I've been kind of confused on all year long. But now, like, at first I thought I was underrating them when I had them at number 6, but now that they're at 7, I'm like, did I rate them all along? Maybe the rivalry game brought out the best of one team but the worst of the other. I don't really know with the Union. I mean, this is a team that's been getting up there with A's for a while. I feel like they always have a few attendance issues. At number 8, Dime City. Wow. These guys were the runner-ups last year. The runner-ups. They were in the championship game, but now this is a team that's definitely not the same team. They're falling faster and faster down the board. They might not even make the playoffs at this point. What's scary, the scariest thing about them is that they have yet to score a touchdown this year. And I think I know they played 2 games for sure. They might have had a bye week in one. But still, no touchdown, no score in 2 games is worrisome. They better pick it up or else they're going to miss out. At number 9, the Glads. My bottom 3 haven't changed at all. But yeah, Gladiators, they play me. I have to go up against them this week, my former team. It's a big matchup. Their tie from last week doesn't hurt them, but they still do need a W to get into the playoffs at least. But yeah, my Code Red, they won last year. They come in at number 10. They won against a depleted VS team. You know what, VS, the one thing that they could take solace in maybe is that they're probably the most consistent team over the past 2 years. So yeah, now we're going to move on to our pick segment. And you know what, last week was a rough one for me. I got not only my first pick wrong, but I think I lost the entire week, as I had 3 wrong. I picked 2 teams completely wrong, and I didn't take into consideration that games could end in a tie, which I'm still going to mark down as wrong in my book. And it brings me to 9-3 on the season with my picks. So this week, we open off with the heavy hitters as 1.5-point favorites against the Spartans. But you know what? I don't think this heavy hitters I've seen the line yet as physical as Spartans. And Spartans have been in this league for a while. They're pretty organized. I'm going to give Spartans a win here at 19-14. I think they're my first upset pick this year. So, yeah, I think Spartans will win that one. Next game is the Union as 2.5-point favorites against Dime City. And like I said, Dime City is just slowly sliding down. I don't think it gets better here. I do think Union's going to win this one 20-7. But I'm also a little shaky on them. I mean, they only put up 17 points against VS. They definitely don't look as good offensively against the Hurricanes. I'm a little cautious about them right now. The third game, the last game of Saturday, is Swag as almost 20-point favorites against VS. Normally, I'd jump off that opportunity at 20-point spread. But this is the highest scoring team in the league against the lowest scoring team in the league. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I'm pretty sure Swag is the highest scoring team, but they're the highest scoring team without even scoring a single point last week. That's pretty impressive, if you ask me. But yeah, I have them winning 30-6 against VS in the gentleman's shutout. The first game on Sunday is Gladiators as 5.5-point favorites versus Code Red. I'm not going to pick that one. As I always say, I don't pick against my own team. The Boonton Bounty Hunters, they are 5.5-point favorites against Knights in the last game of the weekend. And I do like Boonton. I do like Knights. They're Boonton's the top team in my power rankings. The Knights are coming in second. But I think Boonton's going to win 14-13 as they just have phenomenal array of athletes. Like, how do you stop them? But yeah, I'm going to give them the win. It should be a close one. Definitely the game of the week. But yeah, if you guys are like me, definitely don't forget to make your weekly picks on the JAMS website. Right now, Mauricio Granados of Heavy Hitters is leading the pack with 6 correct picks. And then he has a couple others with 5 right at his heels. And you know what? That's it for me this week. I'll see you guys next week. Good luck this weekend. Let's play some football.